National Hot Dog Day, National Sunglasses Day, National Witch Hazel Day. Why is that a thing? Where did this whole thing come from? Who picks these days? Explain it to me.
Take it easy. I've got all the answers. Welcome to By the Way Today Is. Kate, you look like you're doing something interesting over there.
Interesting.
What exactly are you doing?
I'm watering my sprinklers.
Watering your sprinklers?
Yeah. How else are they going to water the rest of the stuff if I don't water them?
It's actually interesting that you're doing that because that's the most absurd thing I've ever heard. But it's also a way you could celebrate today, which is November 20th, which is National Absurdity Day. Very fitting that you're doing something so absurd.
I am, if anything, absurd.
You are. I won't even ask you if you're an absurd person because you know the answer is yes. You would call yourself an absurd person. But we're going to go to the by the way fact. And this is pretty absurd. What animal was nominated for president in 1968?
A dog.
A pig. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in a few minutes. Why there was a pig nominated. Why it was so absurd that it was nominated in the first place.
Just a pig being nominated isn't absurd enough?
When you add in the group that it was associated with, there's more to the story. So the word absurd comes from the Latin word absurdum, meaning out of tune. So consider yourself out of tune.
I'm often out of tune.
Literally. The exact definition of absurd is being in a state or condition of being extremely unreasonable, meaningless, or unsound so as to be irrational or not taken seriously. The opposite of being realistic and reasonable. It sounds a little worse when you read the actual definition.
Yeah, I'll take it.
But either way, so that's what we're talking about when we talk about absurd and absurdity. And it's used in a bunch of different ways in culture. It's used absurdism is actually a genre that is used in film and theater quite often. Alice Adventures in Wonderland is one that's well known for using absurdism. So if you're a fan of that, you've watched an absurd film.
It's a good movie, though.
And a lot of people that are in this genre, they use the absurdity to highlight points about human behavior. It really draws them out even more than just showing someone. They make them ridiculous to the point of being absurd. That's what you walk away with in the show or
That's all I've
movie
been
that you're
trying to do.
watching.
I've just been trying to teach people lessons through my absurdity.
Lessons being learned left and right when you're around Kate. So let me ask you a question. Have you ever heard of the Yippies?
Oh, yeah, Yippies. No.
Okay, so they were a group in the 1960s. They were the Youth International Party, thus the term Yippies. And they were a political movement that included performing and integrating absurdities into their political philosophies.
Is this where the pig comes in?
It does. They attempted in 1967, this was the beginning of their absurdities, or one that they're well known for. In 1967, they attempted to perform an exorcism on the Pentagon and then levitate the Pentagon. So it was the whole performance of it, trying to draw attention that it needed to be exorcised.
The real question here is, did they do it?
The answer is no. But sometimes, if you're being absurd, that's not the point of actually accomplishing it. It's just drawing attention.
Oh, I know.
Which is what they did. So later that year, they had a group sneak into the New York Stock Exchange and they threw $100 bills onto the trading floor. That was their version of being absurd. And
real $100 bills?
Real $100 bills. Yippies broke in, did that.
Did they say $100 bills, y'all, while they were doing it?
I can only imagine they did.
I'm assuming too.
And then we get to the 1968 election. They nominated a pig called Pegasus.
That's the best name for a pig I've ever heard.
It's not even done. Pegasus the Immortal.
Then he should be president. He's immortal.
You would think. But they nominated Pegasus the Immortal for president. When someone asked them, why did they choose a pig? What do you think their answer was?
Because all politicians are pigs?
That would have made more sense, but not as absurd as their answer.
Ugh.
They said, if we can't have him in the White House, we can have him for breakfast.
Ooh, did they want to eat the president?
Apparently, that was their answer, their absurd answer to the question.
That's weird.
So it's an interesting trivia question about a pig being nominated for president. That was something I never knew. Absurdity today, when you think about flash mobs, where they come and do dances and ridiculous things, that's what we think about in pop culture now for people that are being absurd and just doing something ridiculous for the sake of being ridiculous. Surprised you've never been part of a flash mob or organized one.
I got to get on that.
So how are we going to celebrate National Absurdity Day today? You're going to organize a flash mob.
You beat me to it.
We can share an absurd story with someone, a story that's just so ridiculous that someone looks at you, doesn't have a response, just stares at you when you're telling the story.
That's like me every day at work. You're just describing my work day.
That says, they just like, I can't believe that happened, but you actually did it. So that you tell someone an absurd story. You can read the book that we talked about, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, and find the absurdity in that book. And just basically do anything today that's out of your norm that people would see it and think that's absurd. Easiest way in the world. Just do something different. So I'll just go on about my normal day. Just have a normal day. It's just another day for you. But being absurd is just silliness, so it can bring people joy, and it should bring people joy. We're not trying to harm people, hurt people, just make people smile and laugh. And with the holidays coming up, people are stressed, and they need a good absurdity in their life just to de-stress them.
Oh, are you trying to say you like it when I'm around?
Yes. That's National Absurdity Day. Go ahead and celebrate it the best you can. And in the meantime, go to our website, bythewaytodayis.com, and you can find more information out about our podcast. You can subscribe, share our podcast with someone, and come back tomorrow, and we'll have a new day that we can celebrate together. Talk to you then.
Remember to subscribe, rate, and review our show. You can download new episodes daily to hear what day we are all celebrating and how we can celebrate it. And be sure to share your favorite episode with your favorite person so you guys can celebrate together.